On November 22nd, 1963, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was shot in Dallas, Texas at 12:30 p.m. The first shot wounded him, the second shot, fatal. The event that took place that day shook the United States and would never be forgotten. But one man could have changed the history of the world. Steve McCrafterson was a well-known survivalist in the 1950s and 60s. He joined the U.S. military in 1943 to serve in World War II. One day, while flying a fighter plane, Steve was shot down by Japanese anti-air defenses. Miraculously, however, he survived the crash, only to be captured and sent to a remote island in the middle of the sea, where he remained until 1956. That year, a captain named Alex McMinerson landed on the island and brought Steve home. By then, Steve was 33 years old and had many stories to tell about his time in isolation. He spoke of strange dreams of being stranded on another continent filled with bizarre adventures and creatures. These dreams, in fact, would later inspire Notch, the creator of the hit game Minecraft, to make the game in the first place. Now, on September 21st, 1963, Steve moved to Dallas in search of new ventures, hoping to relive the thrill of being in an unfamiliar place. But he was short on money and needed work. The next day, he applied for a job at the Texas School Book Depository, which he was quickly accepted. On October 16th, Steve met a new coworker who had just started that day, and his name was Lee Harvey Oswald. Yes, that Lee Harvey Oswald. A few weeks later, Steve uncovered Lee's plan to assassinate JFK, and he knew he had to stop him. But how could Steve possibly do this? It was ambitious, but he had a plan. He found his old diamond-plated armor, crafted years ago on the island. He forged a new shield and dug through his old chest, finding what he called an ender pearl. On the day of the assassination, Steve went to the exact location where JFK would be soon shot. He waited. 20 minutes passed, and here came the motorcade. But Steve was too late. One shot rang out. Steve panicked. He threw his ender pearl and raised his shield, pointing straight at the window where Lee was. Another gunshot. JFK fell over, dead. Steve had failed, despite everything. But how? Well, at the grassy knoll was Alex Mason. Yes, Alex Mason. Remember the end of Black Ops 1? That was real footage. He'd been plotting with Lee Harvey Oswald all along, and Steve never knew. After the chaos, Steve jumped off the vehicle and ran into a nearby building, and he was never seen again. But why are there no images, no records, no stories of Steve's appearance that day? And why isn't he visible in the Zapruder film? The CIA covered it all up. They had nothing to do with the assassination. But they couldn't let the world know about Steve. If the truth came out that Steve blocked the second shot, it would be exposed that the second gunman, their asset, Alex Mason, shot JFK. They kidnapped and silenced witnesses, edited the footage, yes, in 1963, and forced everyone to go with the lone shooter story. So no, Steve couldn't have prevented it. Thank you.